Today's video will be replacing the flange and the bolts on this toilet. What happens oftentimes is once the flange starts to deteriorate and rust, it'll start to cause issues with the toilet rocking back and forth. You can see here that I'm able to rock the toilet back and forth. And I'm doing this very easily without a lot of pressure. First thing you want to do is you want to inspect the bolts and the nut that attach to your flange and secure the base of your toilet. I can see here that somebody recently replaced both of these nuts and bolts on this toilet. Shut off the water supply to your toilet. If you don't have an angle stop, you may have to turn off the water to your main supply. Go ahead and flush your toilet. You want to make sure that your tank is not filling up. Disconnect your water supply line. Remove the nuts on both sides to secure your toilet. Go ahead and remove the washer and the nut. Put that to the side. You may run into a situation where your bolt is completely rusted, or it may have some restriction such as having excess caulking. At that point, what you'll have to do is you'll have to cut out the bolt and the nut using your Sawzall. Once you do that, go ahead and remove your toilet. If you have tile, you may have to cut the caulking all the way around the base of the toilet and then remove the toilet. Be aware when you're removing the toilet, there is water inside of the toilet, and once you start to move the toilet, it'll actually start to slosh around and drip onto the floor. So be careful when you're removing the toilet. Have a rag close by so that you'll be able to clean up the water that does spill over. You can see here, this is the flange, and right here you can see that the rust was actually starting to eat through the flange and starting to separate. What we're going to do now is we're going to remove this flange. We're going to clean up any excess of the old wax ring, and then we're going to use a scraper and we're going to clean up this caulking. You should be able, when you're removing your old bolt, just loosening the nut, and then you should be able to just slide it over once it's loose and pull it out. Now we're going to remove the excess wax. Now we're going to remove the old flange ring. You can see on this one, it wasn't secured to the actual subflooring. Sometimes you'll find that whoever installed it just didn't do it, or you'll find that it is secured to the subflooring and there may be screws or nails, so you may have to use a little more effort when you're removing it. Any excess debris that is around the pipe, and now we're going to scrape off the excess caulking. Be very gentle. If it is vinyl, that you don't scrape or cut the vinyl. At this point, we're ready for the install of our toilet flange. First thing we're going to do is we're going to secure our bolts to the flange. What I like to do is I like to put the nut on the bolt with the washer, and I get it down towards the bottom, and then I'll just slide it on to the flange. You don't have to over torque it, just nice and secure will do. Just make sure when you tighten it that the base of the bolt is parallel. Now we're going to dry fit the flange ring, and the reason we're doing that is because oftentimes if you have tile, you'll find out that the tile will restrict the flange from going in, and you may have to break the tile, or you may have to cut the subflooring to give you enough room to put your flange ring underneath the base of the pipe. We're going to secure our flange ring. Now we're going to secure the flange ring to the subfloor. Because we have wood, we're just going to use regular screws that'll go straight into the wood. But if you do have concrete, you're going to have to use these special screws to allow you to penetrate the concrete and secure the flange ring. Now we're going to prep for the install of our wax ring, and you're going to want to remove all of this excess wax ring before you put on your new wax ring. Now we are going to set our wax ring, and now we're going to drop our toilet. At this point, you're going to want to apply pressure onto the toilet. You can do that by either sitting on it or standing on it, and that will just allow the wax ring to decompress evenly. Once you apply the pressure, go ahead and start securing the toilet to the flange with the bolt. We secure the toilet by fastening the nut. You don't have to over torque it, just make sure it's nice and snug. Then I'll go to the next side and torque it down, and I'll keep jumping back and forth so I get an even, secure hold. Secure your supply line. Now we're going to make sure that the toilet is secure, and I'm going to try to rock it back and forth. And it's nice and secure. At this point, the rest is cosmetic. Basically, what you want to do is once you secure your bolt and your nut, you're going to want to just cut it just to give enough for you to apply the new toilet cap on, and then you're simply just caulking around the base of the toilet. If this video was a help, if it was informational, please subscribe.